8 historic punishments that were designed to be worse than death. Number 1. Bamboo torture. In World War II, the Japanese are supposed to have employed this method of torture that led to a painful and slow death. Bamboo shoots can grow at a staggering rate of 4 centimeters per hour, and victims would be tied atop them horizontally. The sharp shoots would slowly pierce their insides and exit the body from the other side. How's that for feeling bamboozled? Number 2. Rat torture. In this form of gruesome torture, a bowl containing rats would be put upside down on a reclined person's stomach, after which hot coals would be placed on the bowl. This made the rats desperately try to get away from the source of heat, which they eventually did by eating through the victim's bowels. Number 3. The Judas Cradle. This form of torture included a wooden stool that had a pointy end and would be placed underneath the victim. The victim would be restrained standing above the stool, and when their legs would give out, they would be slowly impaled by the stool. Unless they were released, this would eventually lead to their death. So remember to not stool on your friends like Judas. Number 4. Strapado. This punishment would involve hanging a victim by their wrists with their hands on their back. It would typically result in dislocated shoulders and death within the hour. This technique, if applied properly, will cause permanent damage like paralysis. Number 5. Scaphism. This method of torture would have a restrained victim force-fed with honey and milk and coating them in these substances as well. The former would cause diarrhea, which combined with the latter attracted vermin and insects that would feast on the victim, eating it alive from the inside out. An ancient philosopher that mentioned this method recalled a person dying after an astonishing 17 days. Talk about a time of milk and honey! Number 6. Roman candle. This form has nothing to do with the fireworks you might associate it with. During his reign, Emperor Nero had convicted Christians covered in pitch and oil and had them lit on fire. The victims would die an excruciatingly painful death as the fire would consume them from the feet up, and Nero had them serve as candles that lit up the night at parties he would throw. Number 7. While the term white torture can mean any psychological torture in general, the meaning here is more literal. White torture is a type of sensory deprivation in which a prisoner's cell, clothes, and even food are entirely white. Guards wear all white, lights are kept on 24 hours a day, and no words are spoken. No color is seen. It was documented in the case of Amir Fakhravar, who was arrested in his native Iran and subjected to white torture for some 8 months in 2004. While the physical pain of sensory deprivation is minimal compared to other tortures on this list, the psychological damage is beyond compare. Fakhravar was quoted as saying when he was released, he was not a normal person anymore and could no longer remember even the faces of his parents. Number 8. Blood Eagle. This method comes from Nordic legends of Viking executions. The condemned's back was slashed to give access to the ribs, which were then broken and twisted upward to look like wings. To add injury to injury, salt was poured into the wound. And as the final blow, the lungs were pulled out and draped over the rib wings for effect. Thankfully, there is debate about whether this practice existed, or if it's just the stuff of legend. Either way, it's terrifying that someone took the time even to think this up. That's it for a few of the worst punishments in history. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel as more interesting videos will be uploaded regularly.